Hey everybody, my name is Carlos Danger. Welcome to Insufferable Bastards, a special live recording of the Insufferable Bastards podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Brian Spears. Nice and loud, Brian.
Hello, hello.
So in 3 minutes or 2 minutes and counting, there's some news happening in the Dabbleverse. Shuli has granted an interview with Kevin from Why Do I Podcast. Our plan today is to watch the stream, although we're not going to upload the entire stream because that would not be right, even though this is transformative content, and even though people do it all the time. We're going to edit this afterwards, so you're going to get our reaction to what's being said. Obviously, this is newsworthy in the Dabbleverse because there's been some controversy or some pushback against Shuli and the Uncle Rico show, mainly from Shuli's Anonymous, a subreddit. On the other hand, Shuli is still doing really well in terms of Patreon, and I still love the guy. Brian, you're still not a fan after all these years.
I'm not a fan. I'll say this, he's not the most hated guy that was ever on the Stern Show for me.
Let me just interrupt you, though, because we're going to have 1 minute before this goes live. And obviously what I'm looking for out of this interview, and we're not here to critique Kevin or his interviewing style or anything like that, but I am very curious. I mean, the way I think if I had the chance to interview Shuli again, I would ask him questions directly from the subreddit, Dabblers Anonymous, WATP. You have the questions there. You know what the hardcore listeners want to know, or at least the people that are on Reddit who are very opinionated and have been talking a lot about Shuli. So we'll see if Kevin starts off with tough questions. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, well, thank you for tuning in. This is an honor for me to have the great Shuli Egar here. Shuli, welcome to Why Do I Podcast.
Gentlemen, thank you for having me. The honor is
applause
all on this side of the Zoom.
If I really don't like somebody, I just don't talk to them. Like, I don't joke about them. I just don't talk to them, and they're out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the opposite of how everything works on social media these days.
Weird, right? It's really weird.
But it's the universe we're in right now, man. It's very easy for people not to be held accountable for their shit, you know? So cowardly people take advantage of that option.
Wow, so right off the bat, we have Shuli indirectly addressing the allegations that are coming up all the time. The criticism, I guess, not really allegations. What do you say, Brian?
I was going to say he sounds like he's trying to bring up the subject of what he's being bashed about.
Do you think if you started crediting the content creators individually, calling them out, maybe having your producers post their links, to their channels or whatever in the chat, do you think that would help kind of stave off these people that really have, this is like the crux of their whole argument, is that you steal without crediting. So if you just over credit and promote the fuck out of them, do you think that might be beneficial?
Well, how much promotion do you need? Does it come down to how many minutes the video is? Does it come down where do we start? Why do we start breaking it down this way? Why isn't it that a guy like if Kinky Loco wants certain sites, reach out.
Okay.
My DMs are wide open. I don't know if
That's
these
a good
people
point.
are representing these creators and these artists. They're doing you guys a disservice, because what they're doing for me is I have an archive now. I have someone that has terabytes worth of shit. I don't need to go back there and use anybody's content for anything. And that's a shame, because I loved showcasing the talented people that were there. At first it was, you don't mention the people. So then we mention them. Now it's down to they want plugs for their website. Okay.
Well, that's coming from me. I'm not saying that they're asking for that. I'm just saying that this is what I do and it's worked for me. And I'm just presenting it to you as maybe it might work for you. And I'm not saying you have to do it.
Again, I would do that if the creators of videos that we've played are the ones that have issue with us. But until people like Toucan, Joe Namath, Dennis Michaels, Kinky, until they reach out and say, hey man, don't play my shit without doing this. Even if they say it like that, I wouldn't be confrontational about it. I go,
Yeah.
buddy, you know what? You got it. We'll mention it. Wait, I'm not holding people back. I'm not trying to. The whole goal of mentioning Dabblers is it was a place where everybody was in on the same joke. Everybody was kind of this community doing the same thing. You know, Carl gets clips from Dabblers. I mean, when are we flipping tables over that? You know,
well, I think people have they specifically have a gripe with you, and I think they use this, and that's what I'm saying. Is all I'm saying is this is a bullshit thing that they're using to be
Kevin,
mad at you. So if you got ahead of it and you'd be like, hey, fuck you, we already promote the fuck out of him, go away.
There's no getting ahead of someone that's already made up their mind.
Okay.
Again, you're not talking about the creators.
I know.
You're talking about trolls that this is all they got. This is their only argument now.
Yeah.
First, this sucked and it wasn't going to work. Then it worked and it didn't suck. Then this sucked and it's not going to work. Then that didn't suck and it worked. So now we're down to you steal content to do every show of Uncle Rico. It's not the case. We haven't done. The last thing we played, like I said, was from Kinky. Was one of
he loved it. I am in contact with Kinky. He was blown away that you would even feature it. He's again. This is not coming.
Right, but and I'm not saying it's coming. What I'm saying is you're trying to please the people who have nothing to do with this.
Sure.
They're never going to go away.
Well, not completely, but you might get 80% of them to just leave you alone. I mean, if it's not worth it, it's not worth it. But I don't see, it's not a lot of work. And it's like you've got nothing to lose by your producers just posting a link in the chat. You know what I mean?
Listen, it's not on my producers. If somebody wants us to play something, okay, we do the BS show. People send us clips to play on BS all the time in the Patreon messages. Guy Derek Stewart. If he were to send me a video and said, "Hey, here's a video to play on BS. If you play it, can you plug this website for me?" Boom, boom, boom.
Why do they have to ask? Why can't you just do it without them asking?
What am I, a church? What am I here to fucking? I'm here to take.
I'm just asking.
Well, no, I mean it's.
So one time I agree with Shuli.
I already got enough fucking things I'm doing.
Did you say something?
I just think I agree with Shuli on why. I agree with him on this point.
Well, okay, so we're however many, almost an hour into this. Kevin has totally redeemed himself to the point where he's actually being confrontational instead of just presenting the questions of what is that word? Objectively, he's actually needling Shuli. So this has turned
Shuli
into
gave the answer 3 times.
This turned into a good interview. This went beyond Shuli's proactive, prepared statement to having a real conversation with him with a little edge to it. So credit to Kevin.
And if you're sitting at home,
your producers could easily do it. This wouldn't even be on you.
And yeah, we're both on the same page here. Like, I mean, you're not even like Shuli's comedy. I like Shuli's comedy, and you can't make everybody happy.
Your producers post a link, boom, you move on.
Okay, hold on.
Are you talking, or is that Shuli?
No, that's
sorry.
My producers can easily do what? They get a video from somebody. Now, my producer's job is to reply to that person and go, how would you like us to properly plug you?
No, I'm not asking that at all.
If you want something promoted for us playing that, if you play this, can you do this? Put that in the thing.
Fair enough.
99% of the time, we'll do it.
Okay. That's fair enough. But what about the stuff that you guys grab?
Hold on. Sorry. But it's not fair for you to say it's my producer's job to run after these people and say, "Oh, how exactly should we?" No, if you want to send us content to play, then tell us exactly what you want us to say. I've had people that sent me shit for Rico that said, "Don't mention me. I don't want any mention."
Okay.
So
yeah, and I wasn't saying you gotta tailor it to each creator. I was just saying, like, if you had a blanket thing where you mentioned if they had a link, you posted it, and that it was just like it's a very basic, like boilerplate thing that you could do.
You are tailoring, your shows to your haters. You realize that, right? Like this is.
I don't think so.
Well, you are. I mean, you're making them pretty much the main focus of this episode. I mean, and that's fine. I got no problem talking about it, but I'm just saying, like, the less you put into what they're saying, the more everything else is going to grow for you, buddy. The more, just put your fucking head down and do your show. Don't worry about what they think about your Perry content. Don't worry about what they think you're stealing this or stealing that. Just fucking do your thing, man. Build an audience. So my point in all of this is, why waste your fucking time?
Well,
Move
because I say
on.
sometimes they have a valid criticism, not always, but every once in a while but if you brush them all off, then I think sometimes
You know what? I used to deal roulette. Every once in a while, the thing landed on green 00. You don't bet it every fucking roll.
Talking about Dabblecon, is there like a central hotel where everybody's gonna be staying? Where like if you want to be,
Yeah,
after
let me put the address up right
Shuli,
now,
where are you
so
staying?
everybody can come out. And here's my room number as well.
I didn't ask that. You don't even have to be staying there. You could be staying at an Airbnb. But is there?
Look, I give credit to Kevin. I give credit to Shuli. I think this is the conversation and the tone of the conversation that needed to be had to satiate, to use Kevin's words, all the BS that's been thrown at Shuli. This is great. I think this turned out to be an outstanding interview, in my opinion.
Or like a central place that everybody's going to be hanging out after hours and having fun?
That I don't know yet. We're meeting up Tuesday, all of us, and we're figuring out a lot of those little details. So I'm sure there will be a hanging spot out there.
Cool. That's all. I'm not, again, I know tensions are a little high right now. I'm not asking to dox you.
Kevin, relax, buddy. I'm trying to
make relax.
Your co-host laughing the whole time.
Okay, you might not know this. Do VIPs get priority seating at Dabblecon? Because I know there's like a front row thing.
So
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
Cool.
That's one of the perks of the VIP.
This is great.
Cool.
I thought, okay, Kevin actually explained his strategy there at the end, which I appreciate. He did he did the small talk. He did your standard, how'd you get on the Howard Stern show type questions. What was it like being on the Howard Stern show? And then he got to the heart of the current conflict between anonymous people online, particularly from like Shuli's Anonymous, but you also see that some of those comments bubbling up in WATP subreddit and the Dabblers Anonymous subreddit. I thought he did a really good job of addressing those to the point where he went a little to toe. I thought he jolted Shuli out of sort of the press release rehearsed answer and got to a real Shuli, to the point where Shuli's having a conversation with him. Slightly heated. Yeah. I mean, I think when Shuli starts cracking a joke about the conversation and about the interview, that's a sign of a really good interview. So credit to Kevin from Why Do I Podcast. Brian, that's my immediate reaction to that. I was like kind of disappointed for a little bit. I was like, okay, we've heard this before, because you and I are, Stern fans, you especially, and you're not a Shuli fan. I am. I like the Uncle Rico show, but I think at the end there, just at the whatever it was at the very end, 45 minutes in, or it turned into something really different and like newsworthy in terms of the Dabbleverse. So I'll stop blabbing. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, and I agree with Shuli that you're not going to please all your fans, and certain fans are just not going to like you.
So for Brian Spears, I'm Carlos Danger, and this was the Insufferable Bastards. See you next time.
Later.